social media is brilliant, but there's a lot of shit out there. Mindset's a big one. A lot of people that I work with do have limiting self-beliefs. And to that, I was the exact same once upon a time, questioning whether they can actually make the change that they want to see and that they know they're capable of. Investing in myself is probably one of the best things I've ever done. I put it off for quite a while, as I'm sure you're aware. Like, it is an investment, and when you start up, it's very easy to look at how much a business coach costs and go, wow, that's a lot of money. But actually, you very soon realise that it's probably the most powerful tool at your disposal.
Hello, and today we have Matt Thomas from Coached by Mattie. Hi, Matt.
How you doing, you all right?
Yeah, good, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad.
Nice to see you here in person.
Yes.
So just getting your voice notes.
It's been, when we last see each other, it would have been May, wouldn't it?
It was in May, and I can't remember what that was. Oh yeah, the photo shoot.
Yeah.
So for some context, Matt has a business called Coached by Mattie, and he is my personal online coach trainer type thing. I'll let you explain what you do.
Sound like my dad. I have to correct him every time he says my job description. Online coach. Online business trainer, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, so Matt, actually just take us all the way back. How did you, I guess, get into this? Tell us your life story.
My life story?
Yeah. You always been into sports?
Yeah, I always played sports at school when I was younger. Anything with a ball. I was pretty natural with most things. Cricket, rugby, football, basketball, even played a little bit of hockey, netball. Nice. Actually played rounders as well once at school. It's a good sport.
I like rounders, actually. Once I hit it so far that I ran around twice, and then I was really annoyed that they would give me a double, whatever it was, like try. It's not a try, it's not rugby.
No, it's not rugby. No. Yeah, so I've always naturally been into sports and just being active. And then sort of moved on to college, and at that time I didn't really have any idea what I wanted to do in my career. I struggled with the transition from school to college. I was very lucky with the school that I went to. I had lots of opportunities, which I'm very grateful for, but college was very, very different. And
what was it about college that was different?
Just with sort of school and education, I always had someone on me. So I went to private school. Again, I'm very fortunate for the opportunities, but college I think is a lot more like the real world, where
if you don't hand your work in, and it's on you. Yeah,
you're left to your own devices. If you don't show up for lessons, nobody's chasing you.
Yeah.
If you didn't show up for lessons at school, I'd have someone to answer to. So yeah, it was just that transition from going from a lot of structure to kind of being left to my own devices, and really struggled with that, and combined with not really knowing what I wanted to do in my career. Just felt a bit lost when I was sort of younger on.
No, I get that. I think it's really difficult. I guess I probably struggled with that when I went to uni, because obviously at school you have your whole week planned for you, and then I went to a uni where I only had to show up for 4 hours a week and didn't even quite manage that most weeks.
Yeah. No, I think that's the thing, isn't it? I think having that structure, and I guess it makes a big difference. So
coming out of college then, what did you do?
I decided, I think it was towards the back end of my last year at college, that I was going to start sort of getting into, or look further into personal training. As at this time I was really into the gym. I'd stopped playing a lot of the sports that I was doing previously, simply because I got quite lazy. But I was really, really into the gym, and I just after a period of time I realised that it was much more than just a hobby to me. And when I finished college, went travelling for a bit, and then before I went travelling I got my personal training for qualification, which I think took me about 3 months to get.
Nice.
And then went travelling. I say travelling, it was a long holiday. Spent all my money in Thailand, had a great time for 6 weeks. Came back £7,000 less, and then got into the fitness industry, basically.
Wow, okay. You must have had an amazing 6 weeks if you spent £7,000.
Chang's aren't as cheap as people think they are. But it was probably one of the best 6 weeks of my life. Had a great time, but came back and then got into the fitness industry.
I like that. I think I always talk to my friends, because I was very similar to you actually with school. If there was a team sport, I was in it, most likely the captain of it. And then you get to I guess sixth form, and all of the extracurriculars stop. college level, there's no girls hockey team anymore. Like you have to like actually go out and pay to play hockey and like join all of these like actual clubs and societies. And like my background, like I worked at the weekends. Like I couldn't afford to then go and like spend the money that I'd earned working to I don't know, pay to play all of these sports I was used to playing. So it's really difficult actually. And we always talk, like me and my friends, about like how much we miss just like, I don't know, having a game of football at lunch or like a game of tennis, even though I hate tennis, but it was still really fun. Whereas now it's like, you're lucky if you get a lunch break.
It's the social aspect of it, isn't it?
Yeah.
Interacting with other humans and you're having a good time. Like that's ultimately probably one of the biggest driving forces.
Yeah, definitely. I don't know about you, but I was never one of those people like, I had a lot of friends at school, but like I didn't have a group of friends. And I loved playing sports because like it was somewhere that I always felt like I could go and show up, and like there was always a place on a team for me, and I just really enjoyed it. And I think because of that, it just gave you something to look forward to during the day.
100% couldn't agree with that more.
Yeah, and then you kind of become an adult and you don't have that anymore.
You get responsibilities and you have to do things and it's not as fun, is it? So
no, definitely not. And I think like it was nice actually then that you were able to I guess take the time that you were spending doing sports and put that into the gym.
Yeah, 100%. And it was, the gym was somewhere where I could go where obviously I stopped playing a lot of sports, and at the time I knew that I should have been playing them, but I guess the gym kind of replaced that in some essence. I do definitely regret giving some of those sports up. And there's part of me now that's kind of thinking about maybe taking something up. But again, it's just a time sort of over the weekend. And most sports these days, it's a whole day gone over the weekend, isn't it? But
yeah, I think like when I've got a few friends and their boyfriends play cricket, and during the summer they become cricket widows. That's how they refer to themselves. It's like rather you than me. Yeah. But then again, I'm the type of person where like I'd love it if I had a boyfriend that played a sport because I get a whole day to myself.
So yeah, exactly. Oh, to be fair, I do still play golf. That's definitely something.
That's a really nice walk, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a great way to get the steps in. It's brilliant during the fat loss phase when you're got loads of steps to do. Yeah, brilliant. Just go play golf.
Oh no, I'd be there on the buggies.
Yeah, it's good fun that is.
But okay, tell me then, did you ever have a job that wasn't in the sports industry?
Yes, I did. So the first ever job that I had when I was at college was at Morrison's. I worked on the produce department. I was extremely good at stacking potatoes and carrots. And I actually, with that job, I'd start at 4 o'clock in the mornings and I'd finish at 12. So I was in there for most of the time when the shop was shut, but I just loved the peace and quiet and not having to deal with customers. And that was sort of how I sort of saved up to sort of fund traveling. But yeah, other than that, that's the only real, I've had that job. Started off in a gym as a fitness instructor / personal trainer, then obviously my own business. Those are the only kind of 3 jobs I've had.
Did you always want to have your own business?
I like the thought of being my own boss and being in control of my time. That really appealed to me. I don't, it's going to sound strange, but I don't like being told what to do.
That doesn't sound strange to me at all.
I don't mind if it's coming from someone with sense, but when there's not sense and logic behind it, I struggle to take things on board.
I get that actually, and to be fair, like one of the best pieces of advice I ever actually got was like, if you don't look up to them or want their life, don't listen to them.
I couldn't agree more.
And it genuinely is like, I also think as well, like if you take on too many people's advice, you fundamentally like lose your own intuition, and then that gets less and less powerful over time, and you end up losing your sense of self. Whereas like actually, if you can keep that and like really hone in and listen to yourself, it becomes this really powerful driving force that actually, like, even if it doesn't make logical sense, if it feels right to you, you know you're doing the right thing.
Yeah, definitely. That's really good way of putting it.
Yeah, no, I like I like that. I also don't like listening to having people tell me what to do.
I think the thing with most jobs is like the people there, like, do they actually want to be there? And I think that often rubs off in like when you're like taking advice or someone's asking you to do something, it's like, do you actually care?
Yeah, I think it's one of those, and I've had jobs as well actually in the past where like people have been really I guess they call it like paternal or like maternal leadership, where it's like, oh, we really care about you and like we really want you to do this. And like, I'm one of those people where I think I'm naturally like on the cynical side of cynical. Like really cynical.
Probably why we get along.
Probably, yeah. I'm just like, do you actually care, or do you care about like the amount of revenue I'm generating for this business? Like,
It's the image, isn't it? The appeal of giving off that they care, but do they?
one thing that kind of like really struck me actually was like I really hated the thought that somebody could put a value on me as a person in terms of like you are worth an X amount salary. And I think that's why I've always been attracted to like commission-based roles. I just hated the thought of someone putting like a number on my head. It seems so, I don't know, just like damaging. It's like walking around with your scale weight on your forehead, isn't it?
Make me think of real stuff I've done now.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't even know what mine is. Didn't weigh myself this morning because I couldn't. But like, I don't know, what, 65 kg, just like walking around sharpie on my head.
No, that's a really...
But it is. And I think it makes you so like attached to that number. And then if you don't get like a pay increase every year, you feel like you've not done a good job. So yeah, that's one of the reasons why I didn't enjoy being employed. I also just don't think it suits my personality.
I think that's a pretty accurate assessment, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I get that, not being told what to do. That's a big thing.
Yeah, I think it's just the freedom as well. Like, that's a big thing for me. Like, if I've finished my day at work and I want to go play golf and I've done everything that I need to, I can go play golf and not being attached to that 9-5 or 8, that sort of time. Yeah, that's a big thing for me, having freedom.
Have you always been like that, like quite fluid in the way that you work?
When I get into something, I get into something, but I think like, I've got to... I know you can't apply this to everything, but looking forward to it, like with what I do, I genuinely do enjoy it. And I'm sure you're the exact same. And for me, like, same with anything in life, like if you enjoy it, then you're far more likely to put more effort into it and stick to it and progress at it. And if you don't look forward to whether it's work, whether it's health and fitness, whatever it might be, like the enjoyment's such a big factor.
Yeah, I think like, I guess I went to the gym actually the other day at like 11 o'clock and I felt bad for going because it's in your traditional 9 to 5 hours. And like in my head, I still can't get around the fact that like I have control of my time now, which is really strange because obviously like you do, but like I grew up in a house where like my mum and dad both had jobs and they were at work and you went to work and then you come home and then like, I don't know, they'd sit in front of the TV at night and it's literally trying to recalibrate your brain that isn't actually like what's going to get me to where I want to be. Yeah, exactly. I don't sit in front of the TV. I can't sit still for long enough unless I'm working.
Yeah, no, that's a really, really good point, actually. I think like it's, but I guess having the freedom to manage your time and build your day how you want to build your day, that's an extremely powerful thing as well, isn't it?
Okay, so talk me through a perfect day then for you.
Perfect day?
Yeah.
Good question.
Like a perfect productive day.
At the moment, or what the ideal day would be like?
Do both.
Okay. Yeah. Wake up at 5:30, go for a walk at 6, come home. I've got walking this through in my head. Crack on with one meaningful task before I have my breakfast, just something that takes me 5 to 10 minutes, something I can go, cool, I've ticked that off, it's done. Normally at 7 o'clock, I will go and have a look at my phone, respond to client messages. I try not to someone I'm working on at the moment is not looking at my phone before 7 o'clock. So the first hour and a half of my day, I'm not looking at my phone at all. I stick my phone in a different room, respond to client messages, have breakfast, and then about 60 minutes later, go and train, come back home, post-workout, and then just crack on with some productive tasks for the sort of like the afternoon and evening. I'm quite productive in the mornings, but I do find that like when I train in the mornings, it just sets me, I have so much more energy afterwards.
Yeah.
And just trying to get like meaningful tasks done in the day, I find like the first 60 minutes of your day, I think it sets the tone for the rest of the day.
Okay.
So yeah, like half answered your question there.
No, I like that. So it's like what you aspire to do or like what you try to do every day or like,
yeah,
you're pretty consistent with that though, I imagine.
The morning routine is something that I'm working on. That's something like the last month I was trying to be working on big time. I did slip into some bad habits of it, to be completely honest with you, just with my phone in the room, scrolling on Instagram, And when I spend most of my day on Instagram and WhatsApp, actually, like the evenings, the mornings need to be times where I'm not on it at all.
Do you ever look at your screen time and then want to cry?
Yep.
Yeah.
I did it the other day. I was editing videos for the app, and I spent, I think it's 5 and a bit hours just on CapCut, and that was doing voiceovers. That's not including WhatsApp or Instagram. So, yeah, that's part of the reason why I'm sleeping with my phone in a different room. I don't do it on the weekends, but during the weekdays, it makes a big difference. I think it's so easy to just wake up and look at your phone.
Yeah, that's me every morning.
Phone in another room.
Yeah, true. Although this is going to make you laugh. So you know how like you made me create that alarm where it's like excuses or results, and then it gets me up every morning, which I'm quite consistent with now. I do get up relatively around 7 o'clock every morning. My ringtone to it is that Black Box song, you know, the Ride on Time, where it's like, better get up, get up. It literally jolts me out of bed.
If it works, it works.
Yeah, true. I mean, then the phone's got to stay in the room, hasn't it?
You might laugh. I don't know if you laugh at this, but I bought one of those Lumi alarm clocks.
I really want one of those.
Yeah, they're brilliant. So like half of it's like a collapsed sun, however you want to think about it. And like, I think obviously it's set it for 5:30 in the morning. And then you have 20 minutes where the light gets like brighter and brighter.
Okay.
And it gets to my wake up time. And then I set the noise to like birds chirping. So I wake up to the sunrise and birds chirping each morning.
That's like giving Cinderella vibes. No, it's Snow White, isn't it, with the animal friend?
Yeah, I forgot to turn it off the other day. I wasn't at home. I was at my girlfriend's house. And my mum came to me later on the day, went, I thought there were birds in your room this morning. And it turns out just my alarm clock was going off 5:30 in the morning.
That's brilliant. So would you recommend a Lumi?
Yes, go and buy yourself a Lumi alarm clock.
Okay.
It's worth the investment. Definitely.
I hope my accountant hears this. But yeah, I think morning's one of those where like I've always had like really intense jobs, to be fair, where I've had to like get up and be at the office for like 8 o'clock, 8:30, and so I've always had something to get up and go to. And I guess like this first year of being in business for me, I probably kind of felt how you felt when you left school, from having so much structure enforced on you to having no structure at all. And I am quite good at creating my own structure for a work day and showing up consistently. Like I've not really had many days off actually from the business this year. But then in terms of like translating that into my personal life and having like a really effective morning routine or like an evening routine, I don't know, it just doesn't really translate very well.
In what sense?
I feel like I would be interviewing you on this podcast. I don't know. It doesn't, you know how like you, I really like how you say like you try to not face the world for like the first hour and a half. Like, I think for me, like I wake up and maybe I'm still like in that kind of like survival mood phase where like it's still a business in its like first year, and like I wake up and it's like, oh, I've got to check my phone. Like I need to check that nothing's come in or like everything's okay. And I think I'm just like trying to slowly train myself. Actually, like I'm not in survival mode anymore. Like, and we won't get into it, but you know, the start of this business wasn't very easy. And I think I've just kind of carried that like, oh, I've got to like really wake up and run at this every day. And it does massively consume you. So my question to you is that how you started your business, or were you more relaxed?
No, I was awful. And it's something that I'm really trying to continue to get better at. I think I really struggle with switching off. Mm-hmm. Like I found, obviously with a lot of what I do, it's on WhatsApp.
Yeah.
And I could be watching TV in the evening with my girlfriend. Be 8:30 or 9, I'll be in WhatsApp, like responding to messages, and it just got to a certain point. I'm like, I'm just not switching off. I'm not taking any downtime. And I know for me, like one thing I've learned over the last, it's a little bit hypocritical, but we'll come back to this later. Like downtime is uptime. I think I've said this to a few times, and I know that.
But you say it to me on a weekly basis.
Yeah. But I do know that when I take, even if it's like a weekend, like a full weekend off, when I come to do check-ins on a Monday, I'm so much more productive, and I notice I'll come with more energy. So yeah, I'm trying to work things into my life that are making sure that I do switch off at a certain time. So I start my day looking after myself before I look after other people. It's not an easy thing to do, but it's something that, yeah.
I was really good at doing that, actually, like starting my day for myself first before, like when I had a job, I was like, oh, my first 2 hours of the day is for me. And now it's like, I don't know, I think it's because obviously I still equate the business with being like, it is now mine. It's like, it's sort of like me in a business, but like, it's the first thing I think about when I wake up in the morning, and it's the last thing I think about at night. And that sounds really, really sad, but like it genuinely is.
It's your passion. So
Yeah.
That's a really good thing.
Yeah, I just need to think about it and not jump straight to my phone.
I think once you realise that actually a lot of like we're jumping it straight at your phone, something I've done, I've actually got like a work phone and a business phone, a work phone and a personal phone.
Yeah.
And that's helped massively because like if I'm out, I won't take unless I need to, I won't take my work phone with me. And the reality of it is most things, I'm sure with your business as well, like they don't need an immediate response in most situations. Some may do, but actually like most things can wait an hour or two. Whereas previously when I started up, I'd be responding within a couple of minutes. And sure, I do spend most of my day still in WhatsApp, but at the same time, like I'm getting better at like separating the two and taking downtime.
Yeah, I think like it all just comes down to like planning and stuff. And one thing that I actually have got a lot better at, to be fair, is understanding that somebody else's emergency isn't necessarily my emergency. And a lot of the time they brought that emergency on themselves through like really poor planning and just like leaving things to the last minute. And like actually in like my client contracts and stuff now, like I don't know if you'd be able to do anything like this, but like I literally have like call it like 999 marketing rate or something. Whereas like if you've left something to the last minute and it means that I need to like, I guess, change our workflow or do something like really quickly for you, we have like an emergency rate, because why should we be stressed and not then charge for being stressed?
It's a really good idea.
So yeah, that's quelled that a little bit.
Yeah, no, that's a brilliant idea. It's very good.
So yeah, I guess there's ways that you could, it's really weird, like when it comes to like the logical managing of like a business, great at it. My actual like personal life, I just outsource all of that to you mainly. Like tell me what to eat.
Well, hey,
So online coaching then, can you tell me how that's different to just being a PT?
you're helping people tackle the real problems that are holding them back. Like most people can go to the gym for 60 minutes a couple of times a week, but if you speak to most people, they are not struggling with going to the gym. There's some people are for sure, but it's looking a lot deeper at people's like nutrition, their behaviors, their habits, and ultimately, like with most people's journeys, is what takes place outside the gym that's ultimately going to be the key driving force in their progress. And that's where having a coach is different to a PT.
I think one of the things you said to me actually when we first started talking and while I was signing up, you said that like it's really easy to go into a gym and pay a personal trainer like maybe once or twice a week to give you a really good workout, and then you leave that workout feeling incredible, like you've like earned a pizza or something. And I bet a lot of people do that. They'll go on like maybe a Friday or something and then think like, oh yeah, I did a really good workout, like let's go have a beer.
100%. And I think back to when I still do a little bit of PT now, but that's genuinely just because I enjoy it and I like the social aspect, similar to what we were chatting about earlier. But I think back to when I was like a proper full-time PT, and like to me there was always a missing piece. Like I'd see my client on a Monday, and then I probably wouldn't speak to him again until next week unless I saw him in the gym. And that wasn't necessarily me. That's just how PT is structured. And if I compared like client results with online coaching versus PT, like it's light and day. And it's because you're actually helping people with the things they struggle with.
Yeah, I think like for me, when I started working with you, I was already quite familiar with the gym, and I struggled with a lot of the stuff that I guess you mentioned. Like I had workout programs given to me, and I didn't do them. I'd had PTs in the past where like they taught me how to like I can bench press really well. Like my form is usually correct. I guess like with really complex movements, it's nice to have someone there when you're doing them, especially like you can get hurt, can't you? Like, especially if you're ego lifting, and understanding proper form builds the foundation, and I guess for like strength going forward. So I think having a physical PT, if you're really new to it, is a great idea. But I kind of felt a disconnect too. It was just like, I don't know, like I'd show up and then I wouldn't do anything else but then from working with you and like you check my nutrition, you tell me that like I'm not getting enough iron, like you tell me to supplement like magnesium and stuff. I would know nothing about that if it wasn't for like all of the extra information that I think you bring to it. And it is all of that stuff like I guess if you have a coach in anything like business coach, sports coach, they see the bigger picture more than you do sometimes.
Yeah, 100%. And I think like for whatever reason, it seems to be a lot of people, how do I put this? They almost struggle to accept that they need to learn from someone that's kind of like ahead of them in certain situations. Like I have a coach myself. I'm a coach and I have a coach because my coach knows a lot more than me. And yeah, I think having someone in your corner is just, it's incredibly valuable.
I think it is valuable as well, but I think like especially for you, you might slip, like I do this with like my company's marketing, like, and you probably do this with yourself. It's so much easier to be there and give so much of yourself to other people that when it comes to doing stuff for you, you don't always do it unless there's someone holding you accountable to do it.
Yeah, definitely. I'm quite good, to be fair. Like if you tell me to go and do something, I'll go and do it. But if it's just me left to my own devices, I might do it one day, I might not do it the other day. So I think so much just having someone give me that structure, I'm quite easy to coach. I just have to be told what to do and I just crack on with it. Contradicts what I was saying earlier about me not being...
No, but I think you're choosing to have a coach. That's the key difference. Yeah, exactly. Like I've got mentors in the business and stuff, and like do I listen to everything they say? Probably, weirdly actually. I probably don't listen to everything my business coach says, but I listen to everything my mentor says, even though I'm paying the business coach but not the mentor. But I think like with that, like if you have someone that you know, like they're literally giving up their time because they believe in you, probably more than you do yourself at times as well, and they're there to support you, you naturally want to do what they say because, I don't know, like, not that you want to make them proud or anything, but like, why would they be there giving you advice? Whereas like business coach, I'm a bit like, oh, my intuition's telling me no.
Sorry, business coach, if you're listening.
Yeah, oh, she already knows this 100%. Like, it's the exact same as I am with you.
I have to...
It's just a challenge of dealing with my personality. So, what makes someone, I guess, easy to work with and coach?
They communicate.
Okay.
I think that's the big thing for me. The clients that get the best results are the ones that communicate. They tell me if they're struggling. They check in on time. They ask questions and they buy into the process. The ones that maybe don't get to A to B or don't get there quite as quickly as they would like to, just not communicating. To be honest with you, there's other things to it, of course. I think a lot of what holds a lot of people back is kind of like mindset. So communication is definitely a big thing. Yeah, I'd say probably number one thing there.
Yeah, I think it's probably something that I really struggled with at first. I think I was just bad at communicating with people in general. I think if you're used to being that lone wolf type person, it's really difficult to then realise that you actually have someone to rely on.
Yeah, I think as well, like acknowledging that for you to make a change, you're in your current position for a reason, and you've got to, as harsh as it sounds, you've got to break those habits. You've got to break whatever it is that you're currently doing and take a new approach. And I think some people struggle to sort of wrap their head around that and sort of change.
Yeah, it's like, it's that thing where it's like you won't get the same results if you do the same thing, you'll always get the same results. And it's like people come to you because they're obviously not happy with how they look. So I think that's great because it's the first step in acknowledging that. And what I think some people really struggle with, and like this is something that I struggle with as well, like I'm one of those people where like taking action isn't necessarily a problem, but taking sustained action is if you don't see results really quickly, but you didn't get to where you were really quickly, is built up over the accumulation of habits over like months or years in my case. And to think that you can rectify that in the space of a few weeks is quite delusional, I think.
Yeah, no, of course. I mean, progress is definitely like when it comes to motivation, by far the biggest driver out there, don't get me wrong, but there's going to be times in your journey where progress slows, and that's more often than not with when people don't have someone in their corner. That's when they'll reset, go back to square one, and they're kind of stuck in that cycle. Whereas I think when you're in those sort of situations and things have slowed down and maybe not quite seeing the results that you'd like to see, then it's learning, right, this is a bump in the road instead of a massive great wall, which it is.
Yeah. So you like hit the fuck it button.
Yeah. I wasn't sure if we were going to swear on it. That was the first word that came into my head. But yeah,
Literal first guest, like, had to rate it explicit.
yeah, that's literally it.
Yeah, no, I think it's definitely true, actually. And one thing that I've got massively better at since working with you is, like, I don't hit the fuck it button anymore. Like, I just acknowledge that, oh, okay, that happened. So tomorrow I'll just counterbalance it with this. And to be fair, like, even though I'd say last year and this year has been, like, probably the most intense and stressful year of my life, I've actually not gained weight. If anything, I've, like, still slowly lost. Which, to be...
Slowly, you've lost 8-9 kilos since June?
Yeah, true.
Slowly. Come on.
But, like, I think it just goes to show that, like, it is massive what you say when you've got people, like, in your corner that do things. So, like, to give a bit of a background, I guess, like, of how this works from my perspective, like, I'm a really busy business owner and I don't get a lot of time for myself. And when I'm always on my phone and I'm always, like, I guess, like, being communicated to, and I really struggle to switch off. But the one place I actually do switch off is when I go to the gym, because all I need to do is follow a plan that you've created for me, which is great because, like, no one's telling me what to do in any other area of my life. Whereas this is the one place I just get to show up and do and not think. And for me, that's better than therapy.
No, you're spot on. At the end of the day, that's part of what I'm here to do, is reduce the amount of decisions that you have to make.
Yeah.
Like going to the gym, food plan, steps, like all of that stuff. Like, sure, the steps is quite simple, but, like, actually food and training, each of those is a barrier to you getting to where you want to be. So if I can reduce the number of barriers, then you're far more likely to see success on you.
What do you think most people struggle with, other than, like, mindset and communication? Do you think it is more food or more fitness?
If it's between those two, definitely nutrition. Social media is brilliant, but there's a lot of shit out there. And I'd have to say nutrition for sure. Mindset's a big one. A lot of people that I work with do have limiting self-beliefs because, and to be fair, I was the exact same once upon a time, questioning whether they can actually make the change that they want to make the change that they want to see and that they know they're capable of. But yeah, mindset, but nutrition, to answer your question.
I think that's a really good answer. And I also think as well, nutrition's one of those where it's so personal to people. Like, I know that there's only so many amounts of, like, strength training exercises. I know there's, like, ridiculous variants and you can go on Instagram and see people butchering them all the time. But, like, realistically, there's only so many movements, right, that are going to get you results. And the others are just variations of the same. Nutrition it's a complete minefield. Like, I wouldn't know where to start with it. Like, I grew up on, like, I don't know, whatever my hyperfixation of food was that month. Like, I think I went through a phase of eating cheese and tomato sandwiches for about 6 months when I was younger. Like, that's literally all I wanted to eat.
Yeah. It is, like, it's a good thing to eat, to be fair. They do taste banging. It is a minefield. And I think so many people, I'm definitely not an expert in nutrition, but everyone is an expert in nutrition in a really strange way. And it's, I guess, moving people away from that approach.
Yeah, I am. Oh God, there's this trending trend on TikTok, and you're going to laugh at this. And it's like, because obviously all the students go back, don't they, in September? And it's like, here's some, like, really easy meals for you to make on a student budget. And then people just put, like, their, you call them, like, girl dinners. Okay. I'm guessing you've heard of the term girl dinner.
No.
It's literally, like, the most random thing you can think of. And It's like people are just putting their girl dinners on TikTok, and you scroll through and it's like one of them was like Yorkshire puddings and gravy. That was literally her girl dinner. Like,
Do you not have anything with it?
no, literally Yorkshire puddings and gravy. And it's like just really random things. Like I went through a phase of having like, I don't know, I'd eat like cherry tomatoes with like feta cheese and like a bit of basil on it. That would be like my girl dinner.
I mean, if it floats your boat, then
Yeah, but like it's really random things like that, and it's like you've got so many conflicting things, and it's like, well, what do you actually want to focus on? Like, do you want to focus on like cost effectiveness? Like, do you want to focus on like having a high protein diet? Like, what are your actual goals? Because I think like if I used to approach, I guess like a food shop when I was at uni, especially because like I had zero training on food or like knowledge around it, I used to just eat what I was given. It would be so different to how I shop now. And I think the way that I shop now, like I try and have as much lean protein sources as possible and as many whole foods as possible. Like I don't think you've ever seen me buy bread. No, like don't eat it, like pasta occasionally, but like I think it's just learning how to, I guess, eat better.
yeah, nothing wrong with bread or pasta though.
Nothing wrong with it at all.
But you're learning your body and you're learning like what makes you feel good. At the end of the day, like all of our bodies are different. So you're learning, right, this is how my digestion is after pasta, bread, whatever it might be. And it's not any of those foods are good or bad. But like or anyone learning their body is an incredibly powerful, important thing that you need to do.
I guess that's where the communication comes in with you then, because like as people learn this information, they need to feed it back to you so that you can work it into their plans.
Yeah, 100%. Like if you're feeling bloated, it's really important that we dive deep and go, right, what have you eaten? What's caused this? Is it food? Is it stress? Is it something else? There's lots of different things that can cause it. But yeah, that's ultimately what I'm here for.
No, I like that. So in terms of, I guess, taking your business to the next level, you do a lot of professional development and learning.
Yes. Yeah, I think investing in myself is probably one of the best things I've ever done. I put it off for quite a while, as I'm sure you're aware. Like it is an investment, and when you start up, it's very easy to look at how much a business coach costs and go, wow, that's a lot of money. But actually, you very soon realise that it's probably the most powerful tool at your disposal. And just I think the big thing for me as well, like learning, not just learning, but being around other like-minded individuals, like other coaches, how they do things, struggles that they're having. That's been incredibly valuable as well.
Yeah, I think you went on I was going to call it a retreat.
Yeah, that's what it was called. Yeah, it was a retreat, yeah.
Yeah, like a retreat type thing with like other people in your industry as well. That looked really cool.
Yeah, that was amazing. So it was in Marbella. There was a photo shoot on the Tuesday, which I did. I don't know why I'm saying Tuesday because that's what happened, but there was a photo shoot. And then there was like sort of 2-3 days of learning. There's like 20 other coaches, some like speakers, and yeah, just being around other like-minded individuals was awesome. Yeah, an amazing experience.
What other things do you do to learn then? Like podcasts, books, courses?
Trying to read more books. I say trying, not going particularly well, but that's something that I'm working on in the evenings. There's a lot of, within the mentorship that I'm in, there's a lot of like materials in there. So a lot of it's kind of within there, webinars, and just like networking with other coaches. I think that's a big one with other sort of like, as I said, like-minded individuals.
I like that. I think I don't know. There's something about like having people that are maybe like 2 or 3 steps ahead of you that can just kind of like guide you through things, and it's invaluable. I think in many ways, because it's really easy to read something in a book, right? Like, I don't know, one thing that I read at the moment is like the economics of how a marketing agency should be ran. And we're right on the cusp of like, I could afford another person to come into the team, but I've not quite hit the economic goal of like, it would throw off my profit margin essentially. And it's like my business coach is telling me to hire ahead of the curve. I'm like, oh, I don't know, like it wouldn't bankrupt the company if I did. It just means that like obviously I wouldn't have money to then put aside each month unless like I go out and win another client. But it's like I'd rather win the client first and then bring someone in, because the last thing you ever want to do is like I know, not be able to, I guess, keep someone in a job. And that level of responsibility is really, really scary.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah. So it's like, I think it's one of those where it's like you read things in a book and then you've got like people who have got actual experience telling you to do things and you've got your own intuition. And being a business owner is really hard because it's like you have all this influx of information, but what do you do with it?
There's so many plates spinning in the air as well.
Yeah.
How real. I think you might have said it to me where it's like I think it's a baby sat at a table like doing the obviously like you did the marketing, the admin, the tax. It's just like you, CEO of the company, sat with all your other colleagues. Obviously there's no one there, but
It just loads of mirrors.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's tough, but hey, like we said at the start, like having your own freedom and being able to.
There's so many pluses to it. Do you think you'll ever grow a team out, or do you just want to keep it as you?
Yeah, I've been thinking about this quite a bit recently, and that's actually one of the questions my business mentor asked me, like, what do you actually want from this? I love the coaching side of things. I love working with you guys, and like that for me, the buzz that I get from that, like nothing will ever come close to it. I don't want to build an empire. It's not about having 5 coaches work under me. That doesn't appeal to me. I like the fact that I genuinely know every single one of my clients. Yeah. I'm not saying that I wouldn't hire another coach, but I'd love to just get to a point where I can outsource all the content, all the Instagram stuff, all the admin bits and pieces, and literally just, that's probably not going to happen, but just focus on coaching because that's what I love and that's what I enjoy. So yeah, that for me is I guess the dream.
Maybe look at getting like an executive assistant or something to just do that bit for you.
Could be.
Yeah, that's probably the most cost-effective way of doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it takes all the boring stuff away from you. I'm just trying to like strategically remove myself from areas of the business that like I am either not an expert in or I guess I don't enjoy doing as much. But I came into this as like, obviously when I left my job, I didn't know if I could start the business. And I kind of felt like if I'm going to go for it, I'm going to fucking go for it. And this is going to be a business. It's not just going to be like Chelsea who does like freelance marketing. It's like, no, it's an actual business. Like it's set up as a business. It will grow. Like I don't really even pay myself personally that much from it. Like it is a business. And that's a mindset that I very much have to it. And I think that's where I want to get to a stage where like in the next 5 years or so that like my job is like I love spending time with my clients and really getting under the skin of like their business and like what their real problems are and like how we can help them build a brand that will last a really, really long time or scale so that they can make a lot of money from it, whatever their goal is. That's what I really enjoy doing. What I hate doing is sitting there at 10 o'clock at night scheduling social media posts because it's so bloody boring. And it's like, I don't want to do this. And I think like, even to the point of like organising and filing my own emails, like I'm really bad at it and it's something that I procrastinate on. Anything admin based, like I can do it and I am really organised, but I hate doing it and you don't want to do it. So my goal is to just strategically remove myself from the things that I don't enjoy doing and then invest in like actual experts so that we've got like a social media expert, a digital marketing expert, that sort of thing as we grow so that we can just provide the best service and really help those clients. And I guess in a way, it's kind of what you want to do.
Very similar. Yeah, very similar. I think like once you can get those things that you don't enjoy kind of off your plate, you're not only saying you save yourself time, but you save yourself energy, and that energy can then be better focused on for yourself, your clients, for me, my clients, like.
Or me going to the gym.
Yeah, exactly. Good answer. But yeah, very similar in terms of that aspect.
Yeah. So, okay. Going to do a few fun questions now. Some like fitness myth busting. Okay. So recently on a podcast, a really well-known podcast actually, someone came out and said that calories are myths.
Bollocks.
I was going to say these.
You weren't going to say bollocks. I think I know. I might have seen that. Yeah, the tracking calories is nonsense or something.
There's so many that are coming out now.
It's not nonsense, by the way. Please, please, please.
Yeah, track your calories. Well, I think it depends actually, doesn't it? I think this is a good topic, to be fair. Like, a lot of people struggle, don't they, with like, I guess, eating disorders and stuff in the past if they've like really had bad relationships with like food or nutrition or working out. Do you have many clients like that come to you that have had those experiences?
Yeah. I think relationship with food is a big one because like we're very much brought up in a world where we view food as good and bad.
Yeah.
And my job is to find an approach for an individual that I think is going to be enough to get them some results to start with. And they have got a really bad relationship with food. It's a case of what approach can we utilize that's going to improve this relationship and not be too demanding to start with. And yeah, everyone's different. Like for yourself, obviously you've got a meal plan at this moment in time because it's quick, it's easy, it requires very little thinking from you.
Yeah.
Some clients track their calories, some clients do food pictures, some clients there's lots of different approaches, but yeah, it's all about finding like what's going to work best for each individual.
Yeah, I will caveat that on the meal plan, like, even though you created it for me, you based it on foods that I actually like. So I'm not like having really weird foods that I would normally eat.
That's how, again, that's how a meal plan should be.
Yeah. Whereas I think so many people buy them, don't they? Or just like off the shelf ones. And then like they find themselves like they used to spend £25 a week on food and they're now spending £80 and they're buying like, I don't know, salmon that was like hand-picked from Scotland because that's what this random meal plan with no actual reason or like information on their body told them they need Twinkies.
Exactly, and the worst bit is they probably don't enjoy half the foods that are on there.
Yeah.
Like, and in the day, if you don't, as I said earlier, if you don't enjoy it, you're not going to stick to it. So.
Yeah, no, I like the meal plan route. To be fair, I can track calories, like, but it's just at the moment it's just one thing that like it's a barrier, isn't it? And I think what you've done with me because I'm so busy is you've taken pretty much everything away from me that I don't need to do it, so I won't. Yeah.
That's what I'm here for.
So okay, next myth: strength training is bad for you.
Nonsense. Nonsense. Absolute nonsense. I think I'm not. When it comes to nutrition, I'm very flexible. And I think like there are different methods that you can use, but I genuinely think everyone should be doing some form of strength training. It's not going to have any negative impact on your life whatsoever. It's only going to improve it.
I think you see it, don't you, a lot in like. I'll use my mum as an example. Like she's 48. And I think her generation, they grew up like with watching women do aerobics on the TV and like it's all cardio, cardio, cardio. Like, and I think there's like a saying as well, like on, what is it? It's like on social media, they call them like almond mums where they just like, they're really like restrictive with how they eat. And that's so sad that like, I think so many people grew up with like not wanting to be strong. They just wanted to make their bodies as small and as like malnourished in some ways as it can be. Whereas like I really am grateful that we're a part of a generation where like women especially, I guess, are taught that it's okay to be strong and it's okay to eat and like you should be eating and using food as fuel for your body.
Yeah, 100%. Like yeah, I couldn't agree more. I think in particular with ladies, it's almost like you're lifting weights, you're eating protein. You don't want to get too muscular. It's like
yeah, too bulky's a big one.
Yeah, don't eat that. You're going to get too many muscles. It's like, But yeah, no, you're spot on. And actually, just going back to the strength side of things, a bit of a story here. When I used to work in the gym, I was a manager at a gym, and there were two members that they could no longer go to the gym anymore because they were quite old. She was 87, he was 90, and the daughter rang me and asked if I'd go to their care home, which was just around the corner, and start training them once a week. So every Friday, I'd go and see them each for half an hour. And to start with, I think they were a little bit confused as to what they were doing, why they were doing it. But after a couple of weeks, they genuinely got excited for me to turn up. And the guy who was 90 at the time, within 8 weeks, got to the point, got from not being able to stand up to being able to stand up. And that was simply just because of like literally doing half an hour of strength training once a week for 8 weeks. And for him, that was a really, really big deal. And like in the day, if you can't stand up, especially when you're 90, like you've got a lot of limitations and restrictions there. So
there's no quality of life as well either, is there? And I think like with that, I know obviously 90 is an incredible age to, I guess, be, but it gets to a point where you're not living anymore, even when you're alive, if you don't have, I guess, like the function and like the brain capacity and all of that. So I think that's really cute, actually.
Really simple. I'd literally turn up. I'd go and get them both a glass of water. First thing I did when I went in, because I knew they'd be dehydrated.
Yeah.
I'd walk up and down the corridor a couple of times with both of them, get them moving, getting some blood flowing, come back in, do a couple of strength exercises, and that would be the half an hour. And every single time when...
Was it like body weight sort of strength?
I had some like really light dumbbells that I bring with me, like some resistance bands. So it was nothing crazy, but at the end of the day, like even that, they both saw the benefits from it. So...
And it was just once a week?
Once a week. I'm not sure I could have managed any more than that. It's hard work. And she had, I think she had Alzheimer's, I think.
Okay.
So if it was Alzheimer's, I'm not 100% sure, but like some weeks I would turn up and she wouldn't recognise who I was. But after a period of time, I started to, obviously, well, she couldn't remember what exercises she was doing.
Yeah.
So she had ways of remembering them. I worked out what her ways of remembering them were, and instead of calling them what they were normally called, I'd call her what she recognised them as, but she knew them as. So I guess again, learning the individuals, that's what I'm here to do.
That's so cool though. I guess was that the oldest client you ever had then?
Yes, thankfully. Yeah.
I think like more people need to do stuff like that, because like I think you get it, don't you, all the time? Like with life, you have so many milestones. Like people like think turning 30 is a really big deal. Like, luckily, I don't. I still feel like, well, I'm 28 now, but like, I'm not scared to be 30. Like, I see it as like being in my 20s, but with hopefully a bit more money. Yeah. And like, people are really like, I don't know, like 50 is always a big one. Like, every decade seems to be a really big thing. And I think if you look at life as these like things like where you're sad and you're always looking back, you almost lose like, well, you're not celebrating like what your body can do now. And like, of course you're not going to have the same body when you're 48 as you were when you were like 28. But there's things that you can do now to make sure that you have the best body possible when you're 48.
100%, I couldn't agree more. And thinking back to the couple that I went and saw, at that age, no excuses. And you know what? Like, I don't think they cancelled the session for the full. I think they went there for 4 months. It was just before COVID, and obviously I wasn't allowed to go in during COVID. But they didn't skip a single session. And if they're 1987, like, what's your excuse?
I'm gonna remember that.
That wasn't directed at you. That was. But yeah, remember it.
No, it's so true though, isn't it? I think like you get it all the time, don't you? And I think like well, might as well touch on this because like I guess fitness and I think if you can tell someone's approach to their fitness and the way they take care of themselves, you can probably look at their approach and see their approach to their entire life as well. So like I guess like long-term investing and stuff, like when it comes to like your finances and stuff, like I think if you can look at someone and you can tell that they take care of themselves and like whatever function that might be, you can probably tell that they take care of themselves in other ways as well.
Yeah, it shows discipline. It shows you're really about when no one's watching. And like if I look at my physique now versus when I was completely lost with my life, as we touched on earlier, I was massively out of shape then. That's absolutely no coincidence because I had no structure, I had no discipline at that time. I was just, spot on.
Yeah, I think it's trying to feel like you can't really get your dream body on a credit card, can you?
Not yet, no. So there will come a time and day.
I mean, people can get boob jobs on finance now.
True. I love how you know that.
I have a friend that's done it to me.
Oh, fair.
Well, I haven't, obviously.
Yeah, but sure.
Don't need one. Just do incline chest press.
Correct. I'm sort of like that.
But yeah, I think it's like, but then again, it's like, it's always going to be a cost. So when you start doing things, it's like people, I guess, that like get Botox and fillers and all of this stuff. It's like, where does that end? Whereas like, I'd rather spend time at a gym and put money into something and like put my money into that, I guess, and like put money into something that's like not natural.
100%. Like that's real. What you want to put your money into, like what you just said, the gym, nutrition, like getting Botox and fillers, not for me to comment on it because can't say I'm talking from experience, but yeah.
I also don't like needles. So it's just not an option for me.
Off the table.
But yeah, I think it's just so interlinked with everything, isn't it? And I think like it's one of those where you can tell the level of responsibility that someone's willing to accept by like, I guess, the way that they treat themselves.
100%. And as you're very much aware, like when you look after your health and fitness, it will improve every other area of your life, and you are living proof of that. So.
Oh yeah, 100%. Like even down to like you work with clients on like making them sleep properly, and like making sure that like I think even you told me to start supplementing vitamin D. Like even things like that, where it's like if you really struggle with low energy, there's normally like a deficiency somewhere. Having someone that can like pick that out, and also then from my perspective, like I used to massively beat myself up because I was like, oh, I always feel really sluggish and I don't know why, something's wrong with me. Whereas like actually like there was nothing wrong with me. It was just like I was deficient in iron and vitamin D. And now I'm not going to lie and say I wake up and jolt out of bed. And like jolt.
Behold, wouldn't it?
Like I jolt awake and look at my phone. But like it's one of those where like I think it also is just like a learning process as well. And things that worked for me when I was employed do not work for me now. And you've probably noticed that as well. Like when I was forced to go to the office every day, I never missed a gym session because that was actually the only thing I looked forward to during the day.
Yeah. Again, it's finding what works best for you.
Yeah.
Like, because I know if we reflect back on your journey like a few months ago, I know you were really keen to train in the mornings. Not that you can't train in the mornings, but if training in the afternoons, the evenings works best for you, then train in the afternoons and the evenings. Like it's, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's just like listening to your own body, and I think it's easy to go down the route of like discipline, but sometimes life doesn't adhere to your own discipline.
It'd be nice if it did.
It would.
It's just like ultimately the biggest thing when it comes to like transforming your physique is just consistency over time. Like it sounds so boring, but it's true, unfortunately. But like it's just consistency, and that for me, like the last 2 years, I've just been more consistent than I've ever been before, and yeah, that's the name of the game.
Do you ever have days where you wake up and it's like I really don't want to do it?
Do what?
Just like all of the stuff that's on your checklist, like steps, water, food, gym. Don't know what else is on your checklist, but like they're the 4 things I do every day.
My own journey in terms of like my health and fitness, not really.
Okay.
I used to, definitely. There is the odd leg session where I don't want it. Legs is a weird one. I like training legs when I'm there, but the thought of it sometimes just doesn't appeal to me. But I think now having a coach helps with that massively as well, because I spend less time in the gym than I ever have done before. I used to spend hours, go 6 days a week, and yeah, not really, to be honest with you. Like I like the foods that I eat. I'm a bit of a simpleton, so
yeah,
I quite like the foods that I eat.
We're the same actually in that regard, aren't we? Like we'll probably happily both cycle like the same 8 meals, like for 6 months.
I enjoy them, so
yeah,
you know, it's quick, it's easy.
It cuts down your shopping bill massively.
Yeah, it does. That's what I know. People think that food and good quality food is expensive.
That was going to be another one of my myths.
What?
That to be healthy is really expensive.
How? What should I say here? Yeah, it's not expensive. I think at the end of the day, like it's how important is your health to you.
Yeah.
If you want to eat shit food and you're happy being overweight and out of shape, then it's not that eating good quality food will make you help you with those things. It's a case of what are your priorities and how much does your health and well-being mean to you.
I get that. I think to be fair though, like I've never spent as little on food and I eat better than I ever have. And it's purely because like I'm not going out. Like when I have a meal out now, it's almost like I get really bad anxiety over it, to be fair, because I don't know what's in it. And
in what sense?
In the sense of like you don't know what the calories or the macros are. Whereas like actually I love the fact that like I make most of my own meals now and I can control that.
if you think of that meal as a percentage of your week eat
Yeah.
take, you're talking maybe like what, 2, 3?
5% probably. Yeah. So I do get that. But like, I suppose it's like more the fact of like, because I don't like it now as much, like obviously we're going for steak after this. I know what's in a steak roughly because it's pretty much what I eat most nights. But like,
In the good life, aren't you?
pretty much, yeah. My £3.50 steaks from Waitrose Essentials. But like, I get that. Whereas like, if you were to go and like take a lasagna, for example, what oil have they used? How much cheese have they put in? That's really stressful.
It is, but I think it's coming to, I totally understand it's stressful, but I think it's almost making peace with the fact that like you can't control every single variable,
Yeah.
especially when if you're someone that eats out a lot,
But I think I used to be someone that ate out a lot, to caveat this, whereas obviously now, like I do maybe 2 meals and meal prep for the week. And then that's like my dinners and my lunches. And that makes me feel better.
I'm the exact same. Like I'll typically have a meal out or a takeaway a week. And when I have it, I enjoy it. And then the next meal, then the next day or whatever it is just straight back to my routine. Whereas previously it would have been a yo-yo cycle and start again Monday.
But you said it before, wasn't it? What was your routine? Like you'd have a Domino's on a Friday.
Yes, I was Domino's Fleet's #1 customer for quite a few years. Domino's on a Friday. I'd skip leg training on a Saturday morning. Legs was always deliberately placed on Saturday. No wonder I had pencil legs for quite a few years. And then for the rest of the weekend or weekend, I would just eat what's ever in the fridge, order delivery, do zero movement. And I genuinely did that for years. So yeah.
What was the one thing that I guess switched in your brain that like got you out of that cycle?
I think just recognizing how shit it made me feel, and getting a coach definitely helped with having someone accountable to help me break that cycle. But just recognizing the impact that it was having on like my skin was shot to pieces, my mood, my sleep, energy, productivity, all of that stuff. So I think it was more a case of recognizing that I didn't want to feel like that anymore.
Did it come as like a big epiphany, or was it something that kind of like built over time?
Built over time, definitely, because I was doing it for years. So yeah, and it's nice now to be in a position where I can go out for a takeaway, I can go out for a meal out and just enjoy it. And the thought of, what I'm eating an off-plan meal does not even cross my mind. And I love my food. Like I could eat a dangerous amount of food, as you'll find out later. But it's not like at the end of the day, like most people love food, don't they? So I think that's a really, really important thing.
One thing I would say actually that I really like working with you is you don't tell us not to have alcohol. I've got friends who've worked with like other PTs or have done other regimes where like they've not allowed to drink any alcohol for like 12 weeks. It's like, obviously I'm not a massive drinker, but like I love going out and having a G&T.
Exactly, you enjoy it.
Yeah. Like I'd sooner have a G&T than like, I don't know, a 700 calorie hot chocolate at Starbucks.
It's like, a few G&Ts for that 700 calories, isn't it?
True, I think of it like that. Wonder how many I can fit in.
But again, like I said to you, Chelsea, you can't have gin and tonic for the next 4 months. You'd hate me, you'd hate the process, and like that's automatically putting up a barrier to your progress.
Yeah, whereas like I like the fact that like one thing that I have stopped doing now, like I don't drink at home really. Because obviously I think like that there's just no point. But like if I go out for a meal with a friend, like, or I go to the pub, and like going to the pub for me is like, I love the pub. It's like my favourite place. But I go and I'll have like one G&T and I'll superset it with water actually. Yeah, genuinely. Because I understand
well, haven't I?
Yeah, I understand the importance of staying hydrated. Yeah. But also like it's way more fun, and like it means that like I can have something that like I really enjoy, that like, to be fair, alcohol is bad for you in most cases, and we know that, but like I think it just comes into the whole like you're creating a lifestyle for someone, not like you're here for 12 weeks to get them looking great so you have a before and after, and then sod off, you're on your own now. Good luck sustaining it.
Exactly. Yeah, I will say, like, on that, I guess, slight caveat to that is at the start of this year, I didn't drink for 4 months when I did the prep for my photo shoot. And to be fair, it's probably the best that I've ever felt.
Yeah.
That's not me saying that don't drink alcohol, obviously enjoy yourself. But I think similar to what you just touched on there, learning to actually like enjoy alcohol, like in moderation whilst fitting in around you and your goals. That's, again, another really important thing to like long-term success if you are someone that does enjoy a drink.
Yeah, I think as well, like it's other things like, can I attach the pub to a walk where we end at the pub and then I feel like I've hurt my G&T? It's like things like that instead of just like, I don't know, like some people do, don't they? They have like, I guess you have unhealthy relationships with everything. Whereas like, I think when you zoom out and you follow a plan like this, like I 100% know that if I have a drink and then I have to train the next day, even if it's just 1 or 2 G&Ts, my training's off. So I don't have it on the days that I'm going to train in the morning. If anything, I'll have it on the day that I actually train because I know that I've got 2 or 3 days before my next one. So you kind of learn to, it's not just that impulse where it's like, I really want a G&T. It's like, actually, what am I doing? Like, how's my week looking? Can I fit this in?
Yeah, definitely. I think you're recognizing the impact that it may or may not have elsewhere.
Yeah, definitely. And I think when you start doing that with like not hitting your protein, on days that I train, if I don't hit my protein on that day or the day after, the soreness I have is awful. It's like, I think you have to go through it a few times to realize it's self-induced.
Yeah.
But it makes you so much better, I think, at like, I guess, learning and taking on board all of these tiny little micro habits that like, we've worked together now for around 18 months and like a lot's changed in those 18 months to 2 years, I think, that we've worked together. But like, I think my approach has been relatively consistent in the same that like, even if I'm going through like a really intense period, I do still take on board certain things. And now like I get 8 hours sleep every night. That would never have happened. Like, I always hit my supplements. Like, I might not hit my protein goal every single day, but I'd say 5 out of 7 I do. And I think if you can kind of get to that like 80% consistency, it's good enough. Like, I don't want to go and enter any bodybuilding competitions. And I'm not here to be an athlete. I just want to have the best life possible. And being fit and healthy is a big part of that, which I think is the case for most of your clients, right?
Yeah, definitely. Just enjoying life, but at the same time, like getting into shape as well. Because at the end of the day, like as you're very much aware, like when your physical well-being improves, like everything else tends to compound, and all other areas of your life flourish as well.
What backgrounds do most of your clients come from then?
A lot of them are like works for like corporate-ish jobs. A lot of desk workers, which obviously presents challenges.
Yeah.
I think most of my clients have trained for or gone to the gym for years, but never seen the results that they're capable of. And that's where I come in to fill in the missing pieces and help them reach that next level in terms of their progress.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I definitely felt that, like, I keep going to this thing called the gym that's meant to, like, make me better. Why isn't it?
Yeah, no, exactly.
But yeah, we've got another photo shoot coming up, actually, haven't we? And that's what I am trying my very best to, like, be in incredible shape for. My new goal is, like, I want to be in the shape of my life by 30. So you've got, like, a good, like, 14 months to get me there. Actually, no, it's like
14 months.
16. I don't know when my birthday's in February and I can't do the math.
Quick maths.
But it's not like next February. We'll call it 16 months.
Okay.
So like I want to be like I'd like to do a High Rocks event by that time.
Let's fucking do it.
Okay. You heard me say it on here. Okay.
There you go.
Deal, shake on it. But yeah, I think just to like, I don't know, like, so you've wrapped up like your entire decade of your 20s, like learning to look after yourself. Me looking after myself at the age of 21 was not great. Like, these are genuine habits that you learn over a lifetime. And I think if you can nail that in such a foundational age, it's great going forward. But yeah, so we've got this photo shoot coming up, and we've got this group chat actually that I really like being a part of, because like obviously with you being online, there's no like, I guess you don't get that in-sense of person community, do you? But it's been really nice because the other two people that are doing that too, we all have really intense jobs.
Exactly. And I think that's obviously online, face-to-face, they both have pros, they both have cons. One of the things with online, it is slightly less personal to an extent, but like obviously for yourself, as you're very much aware, like we speak most days, don't we?
Yeah.
Obviously it's different speaking in person versus speaking on the screen. But yeah, it's similar to what we were chatting about earlier around sort of business mentorships, even being in like a group chat, being around very similar, like-minded people, like for yourself. Obviously with the other sort of two clients that are doing the photo shoot, they're ultimately working towards the same goals. And yeah, I realized the other day that you guys are all very, very similar in terms of like stress environments, obviously different roles. Totally understand that, but in terms of like what you're each of you's looking to get out of the sort of photo shoot in November, very, very similar, which I think is really, really cool.
Yeah, I think it makes you feel like you're a part of something bigger than yourself as well. You don't want to like let the team down when like you're doing stuff. So I have thought sometimes like, really fancy, like, I know, insert takeaway here, probably a Chinese knowing me. It's like, but I can't.
You can, but
no, I just made myself a homemade stir fry instead.
Do you know what?
Pretended.
That's my new life hack. I had them during prep for my photo shoot, but I hadn't had them for a while. It's been my new thing recently, actually. Instead of ordering a takeaway, literally just going down to Morrison's, getting like a stir fry veg thing, lobbing some rice in there. And do you know what? I really, really enjoy it. And it's nice not waking up the following morning feeling like a balloon.
True. It's like whenever I fancy a Domino's, I just do that weird wrap pizza thing I found on TikTok. And I know you say that like nutrition on like social media is a bit sus sometimes, but like I probably like, if it wasn't for TikTok, I wouldn't know how to cook.
At least TikTok's taught you something.
Yeah, true. It's taught me a lot.
There are some brilliant things like the example, like meal ideas, that stuff's really, really cool. But I think like if someone's telling you don't do X, don't do Y, instead of just taking it at face value, go and do your own research, conduct or draw your own conclusions and go from there. Instead of just saying, he said don't eat carbs, therefore I'm not going to eat carbs, or calories don't work, whatever it might be.
Yeah.
Do your own research, draw your own conclusions.
I think a lot of it's trial and error as well. Like I know that like even just finding your base calories can be quite difficult because like it comes down to like I guess movement, body percent fat. Like you just got to weigh yourself, and every time you shift the calories, like, is this actually working? And it's just what you say to me all the time. It's like, I just need data from you.
Yes, I do need data from you, Chelsea. But it's the same as like for your business. You track your income, you track your expenses.
Yeah.
You didn't do that, you wouldn't know if you're making profit. And the exact same principle applies to your health and fitness journey. If you're not weighing yourself, you're not tracking your foods, how are you going to know if you're making progress?
That is very
To
true.
an extent, there's obviously you'll be able to see the physical changes, but it's the same methodology.
Yeah, I love data. So like, Mark.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, I love data. I don't love giving it though. But okay, we'll wrap it up then. So one parting piece of advice, I guess, for anyone who's like looking to, I don't know, be it start a business, start like a fitness journey, if you can leave like one lasting piece of advice to someone who's just looking to improve actually generally, what would it be?
Invest in yourself. I know it might seem scary to start with, but find someone in a position who's achieved what you want to achieve and be open to change. Like if you want to get to somewhere or you want to achieve something that you've never achieved before, you can actually do things that you've never done before.
That was the same I was trying to think of.
I think I butchered it a little bit too, but I might just freestyled it a little bit, but we got there in the end.
We've got there at the end. Well, thank you very much for coming on the podcast and getting wrecked with me.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.